So let's dive into one of life's biggest and honestly toughest questions. What do you do when the very thing you've worked for, the thing you've hoped and prayed for, just doesn't work out the way you thought it would?
You know that feeling, right? When you've poured absolutely everything you have into something, your time, your energy, your whole heart, and you're just so sure it's all going to pay off?
And maybe you waited and waited, holding on to this promise, this dream you could see so clearly in your head.
And then, the moment finally comes, and it's not what you expected at all. It feels like a massive letdown. It's something you definitely didn't choose, and you for sure didn't ask for.
If any of that sounds familiar, I just want you to know you are so not alone in that feeling. And there's an incredible story in the Bible that hits this exact feeling head on.
We're going to head back to the book of Genesis, chapter 29, to talk about a man named Jacob. He found a love so powerful it literally changed everything for him.
The second Jacob lays eyes on Rachel, that's it. He just knows. It wasn't just a crush, it was this deep, soul-level certainty that she was the one he was meant to be with.
But, of course, there was a catch. Her father, Laban, cuts a deal with him. If you want to marry my daughter, he says, you have to work for me for 7 years.
7 years. Just let that sink in. That is a huge chunk of your life to dedicate to one single promise. But Jacob, he was all in, no hesitation.
And here's this amazing little detail in the story. It says that his love for Rachel was so intense, so powerful, that 7 years of hard work felt like just a few days. Wow, that's what love can do, right? It just gives you this almost superhuman ability to endure. So Jacob does the work. He waits. He keeps that promise in his heart. But this is where the story takes a massive, heartbreaking turn.
At last, the day is here, the wedding. This is it. This is the moment he has waited over 2,500 days for. All that labor, all for this.
So he goes through with the wedding ceremony, feeling like his dream has finally come true. But when the sun comes up the next day, his entire world flips upside down.
He realizes he's been tricked. The woman beside him isn't Rachel, the love of his life. It's her older sister, Leah. Can you even imagine the shock, the betrayal? 7 years of his life, and this is what he gets?
And that just brings it all home, doesn't it? Have you ever had a moment like that, where it feels like life handed you a Leah, when for years you'd been working and praying and dreaming for a Rachel?
Okay, so this is the absolute crisis point in the story. It feels like a total disaster. But this is also the exact moment where the story starts to reveal something so much bigger, so much deeper.
From Jacob's perspective, this is a catastrophe. It's a crushing disappointment, a frustrating, unfair delay. But what if there's another perspective? What if, from a higher viewpoint, this wasn't a mistake at all, but was actually part of a deliberate design?
See, while Jacob was completely focused on what he lost, an even bigger story was unfolding. Because it was through Leah, the overlooked one, the unchosen one, that the royal line of kings would come, and ultimately, the lineage of Jesus himself. What looked to Jacob like a devastating detour was actually the main road to an unbelievable purpose.
So, what in the world does this ancient story about love and trickery have to do with us, right here, right now? Well, everything, actually.
When you really look at Jacob's journey, you start to see it. Our biggest disappointments can sometimes be divine redirections. Those frustrating delays, they might just be part of a much bigger, more beautiful design that we just can't see it. And that struggle, that path of perseverance, that's so often where our true purpose is actually found.
So I want you to think about that thing in your life right now. You know the one. The weight, the struggle, the situation that just doesn't seem to make any sense.
And just ask yourself, what if it's not a mistake? What if this isn't the end of your story, but it's actually a crucial, non-negotiable part of your transformation?
Which leaves us with this one last thought to really chew on. Sometimes, the path we never would have chosen for ourselves, the one that feels unexpected, maybe even unfair, ends up being the very path we needed all along.